It's the final percent. The final percent. Yeah.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Final Percent podcast. And today I want to actually ask a question. What's it all for? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it working? And then do you actually enjoy the fruits of your labor? And I read this quote the other day, and it went something like this. I'll paraphrase it, but it said, "You're not actually fighting demons." Everyone talks about these demons that they're fighting. Oh man, I've got demons. I'm working on this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And it says you're not actually fighting demons. You're just dealing with the consequences of your own actions. And we have to soften it by saying, the world's out to get me, this, that, or the other. And, personally, like, it's very close to me. So not me particularly. But the conversation around mortality has kind of been in a sorry, I'm driving, so if I'm a little bumpy or you hear blinkers and such, just know that I'm just trying to be efficient. But anyway, the concept and the conversation around mortality has just started. I think as we get older, what happens is we start becoming more aware of both things that we've accomplished. We become aware of things like legacy, and we become more cognizant of quality of life. And we're pushing so hard these days. Everybody is so addicted to speed, and it's really interesting because it's almost like speed is the thing that's actually slowing you down. So, what does that mean? It means, you constantly trying to take shortcuts. It means you wanting to speed things up, from a standpoint of the constant pursuit of how. And I get into all of these conversations, and we got to start asking the questions like, what is it all for? If what it's all for is to spend more time with your family, chances are, you can probably just go spend more time with your family. We live in these if-then scenarios, and I look at both people I coach. I look at my own life. I'm certainly guilty of it currently and have been guilty of it in the past. But I'm wondering, I'm looking at, my son Conrad, and I'm going, this is really all that matters. We have this kind of creed that says, do cool things with cool people. And that's really what life's about. And and we all have our own versions of success. That's success to me. And there's so many areas where I'm trying to, make the business move or whatever it is. And I'm sacrificing something. Every time you say yes to something, you're sacrificing something else. So, you got to start asking yourself, if I say I am going to say yes to my family, I might sacrifice a little bit of money. Okay, that's fine. But if you sacrifice a little bit of money, but you say yes to your family, I feel like that's an exponential return. The same thing with doing cool things with cool people, making sure that you show up in a capacity that is engaging. So many times, and I know I'm kind of rambling, but I had my podcast stuff sitting next to me while I was driving, and I'm literally just, this is the dominant thought in my mind. Like, what is it all for? Like, why am I pushing so hard on certain things? Why am I doing this? And you can do all the, you know, the statements that you need to tell yourself, I want to make an impact, I want to do this, I want to do this, but yeah, but what, like, but why? Like, why, what is actually going on? What are you doing? Who are you? And it really, really just started resonating with me when I was realizing I love experiencing my family, experiencing love. I love coming up with ideas. I love solving problems. I love feeling needed and necessary. I love feeling appreciated. And there's this thing called the drive system in a company that I work with all the time, named Renatus. But the drive system talks about there's different personality types where you have director, you have relator, you have intellect, validator, executive. And I'm like, am I an executive? Am I a this? Am I that? I couldn't really pin it down. And then I realized, I'm definitely a relator, validator. And so much of me wanted to play more in the land of intellect because I certainly have that inside of me, but is it the dominant thing? Not really. And so, when I realized, okay, well, the intellect's not the number one thing, and then, I like, am I an executive? But executives are like certainly I like being in control of the situation, and I'm certainly competitive. One of the character traits of an executive is wanting to win, and they're very competitive and this, that, and the other. But there's a lot of times where I will give up the win, or I won't say anything, or I won't do anything because I want someone else to feel important. So when I run into executives, I almost always pass the ball to them and let them feel whatever they need to feel because I am a relator. And then, I have loved getting on stage since I was a little kid. I'm a singer. I'm now a speaker. And I like feeling appreciated. I like the pats on the head. I like I like the attaboys. And it was just so interesting because coming to grips with that, because I wanted so badly to just be like, I don't care. But I do but I do care. I like people telling me, "Hey, you did a good job." And I don't know where that comes from, whether it's innate or whether it's developed or whether it's patterned, whether it's something from the trauma. Almost certainly it's probably all of the above. But yeah, you know what? I like attaboys. I'm not a hardened outside. Um, and so I started looking at life through that lens. Like, if I'm relating to people and I want to validate people and be validated in return, of course, I just started asking myself, okay, what's it all for? What are we getting accomplished? And really the best way to do that is create opportunity where none existed before, and create structures of exchange. So we exchange ideas, safe places for change. And at the end of the day, being a catalyst for change, being a springboard for change, being an example of what can change, being hope, a beacon, being able to let people know that it's possible, to give them guideposts, to do it with them. Y- You know, at the end of the day, what we're trying to get accomplished is we're just trying to hopefully be a little better than we were yesterday. And that's when it started to kind of hit me. And we're redoing our events. We're going into what I think is going to be kind of the first event in, so we'll backtrack a little bit. I have these events, we've done them in Phoenix, we've done them in Vail, we've done them in big conferences, we've done them in Westminster. um, and so almost always it's a person talking in front of the room being quote unquote the authority figure. and then everyone listening and taking notes. And what I realized is that that's not the best way. The best way is more campfire conversations. And a good friend of mine, Dale Coffin, he's part of our mastermind group. He has an incredible family. He's a man that I look up to very much as a father. I mean, he's like not as my dad, but as a role model of how I want to be a dad. Just how he loves his daughter is, I mean, it's just fantastic, and how he loves his family. Um, and it's funny because he was kind of giving me the blueprint of these experiences, and he was giving me the blueprint of where we're taking things long before I was in a place to where I could understand what he was saying. And he said, I've learned that the best conversations and the most growth and the best community happens late at night after everyone else has gone home. And I didn't realize, but he was giving me like this golden nugget of what people are actually looking for, which is relationships, people that they can lean on, people they can bounce ideas off of, and they want depth, not width. And so, our events, we're heading into Wyoming. We've rented out this entire retreat center. It's got, 6 little cabins on it, and it's got a big, event center to where we can eat food and we can play games and really take the relationship to the next level. But that's the big thing that we want to do. We want to really focus on experiential, and we want to take the relationships to the next level. Because relationships, if you look back, are everything. And this is, I think, why I've gravitated so much towards a relator, is relationships are the single biggest thing that has changed your life. And when you have the right relationships, you have the right opportunities, you have the right influences, you get exposed to the right values, you have people to catch you when you fall, you have people to push you when you're being lazy, because there's this trust there that takes things to a whole nother level. And so this is my answer. What is it all for? It's all for the relationships that you're making. It's all for the relationships that you're building, the relationships that you're maintaining. And we really don't know what the game clock says. And what I mean by that is the game clock is hidden. A lot of people out there are playing like they're in the first quarter and they have no idea they've had the 2-minute warning of their life sound. We don't know when this thing ends. And the best way to live forever is, well, the only way to live forever and have a real legacy is to make a memory. And the best way to make a memory is to build those relationships. And so don't ask what you're getting from a relationship. Don't ask what you're getting from a job. Ask yourself, who am I becoming here? And when you find people who make you better, not people who are like the militant and they're chastising you. I'm just saying, like, you being around this person you want to be better because you know them. And they want to be better because they know you. You make each other better. This is this exponential idea of community when the right people get together and they're aware enough to love on each other and maintain those relationships. So I think the answer to all of this is relationship. What are the relationships that you're making? And, I'll end here. In business, we forsake a lot of our relationships. We forsake, mom and dad and the family and different things. Why? Because we know they're going to be there. So we're always trying to go wide instead of deep. So we're like, mom and dad will always be there. I need to go get business done. And, my parents are getting older. And, I just realized, someday I'm not going to be able to call them. And I'm fighting so hard in business, and I'm, taking so much action in business. How many memories did I not make with my parents? How many memories are you not making with the ones that you love that really, like, that's why we're here. That's what this all is for, is to make memories with the ones that we love. Why we're here is to do cool things with cool people. So focus on the relationships. Everything else is going to figure itself out. Mark my words, everything else figures itself out. But build real relationships. And that's going to start with you. Build a relationship with you on what you actually are trying to get accomplished in this world. Don't lie to yourself. Become better than you were yesterday. Be an example. And then go be around other people that you look up to in one way or another. And then just go help more people. Build more relationships. Love on people. Choose to be kind instead of right. Give hugs out freely. Give smiles out freely. Don't get into stupid internet debates. Go deep in your relationships, not wide. And remember to run maintenance on those people that are close to you that are making a difference, because you never know when the last time that you're going to be able to get to say thank you. So I'm just obviously very introspective and reflective right now. So wanted to share this with everybody on the Final Percent. I love everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you listening. And I think in the middle of June, we're launching it at the Wyoming retreat. I'm launching a special thing called Project 33. If you're interested in joining Project 33, please email Owen at thefinalpercent.com. It deals with the 4 areas of your life. It's 33 days long. 4 areas are your personal growth, your business growth, your health journey, or vitality as I call it, and the community that you surround yourself with. So if you'd like to take a deep dive on what's possible in 33 days, reach out to us. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, maybe take a screenshot, because this is the way it gets out, and it's my only ask. Like, obviously the podcast is free and it's going to stay free. Just take a screenshot, throw it onto your Instagram and tag me, or on Facebook if you're listening on, or if you're more on Facebook than Instagram. Take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast and throw it on the Facebook, and just help get the word out of what we're up to. We really love helping people. Those are our big asks, and just know that it's very appreciated that you keep showing up. And as always, I love you more.
It's the